SeaWorld, where you experience thrilling rides, family fun, and live animal entertainment, all at the expense of the animals that live there. Our natural world is being exploited every day for money, where animals are being taken out of their natural habitats and put into these fake human-made enclosures where they'll spend the rest of their days. Now, it's illegal for the U.S. to capture these animals now. SeaWorld is still built on the principle, take because we can. I'm not a marine biologist, nor am I a zookeeper, but I care deeply about this topic. And I first started caring about these animals in about 3rd grade when I went to the Detroit Zoo on a field trip. I was very excited to see these animals. But when I got there, I was disappointed because they were just laying down. And they kind of looked sad, honestly, and it made me sad. But then I was thinking, what can they really do in their enclosures? Not much. They're supposed to be doing wild animal things in the wild. That's why they're called wild animals. But nobody seems to get this because all we care about is money. Now, SeaWorld uses these animals and continues to exploit them. No matter how well they're treated at SeaWorld, it is still wrong. SeaWorld has 3 parks across the U.S. San Antonio, Texas, San Diego, California, and Orlando, Florida. And customers are oblivious to this because just in 2019, according to SeaWorldInvestors.com, they had about 22.6 million guests, generating $1.4 billion in revenue. And since the release of Blackfish in 2013, which is a documentary that exposed SeaWorld for many of the inhumane things that they do to these animals, they spend $10 million on advertisements just to try and cover up the truth, when they could be spending that $10 million on the habitats that the animals are kept in. Now, many of these habitats are insufficient because most of the animals there are native to the cold weather, such as the penguins, the polar bears, and the seals. Antarctica, according to New York Times, on average, is about 14 degrees year-round, and the lowest temperature it's ever reached is negative 76 degrees. The penguin habitat is kept at about 30 degrees, just below freezing. While it's still below freezing, it may not be cold enough for these animals. And their biggest attraction, the orcas, they are kept in the worst habitat of all. The male orca can grow up to 26 feet, and the female can go up to 23, according to National Geographic. And they can weigh up to 6 tons, which is 12,000 pounds. And they are kept in 300-foot tanks, which is about 0.07 miles. And on average in the wild, these orcas swim up to 62 miles a day. That doesn't add up. While they're very adaptable to water temperature because they swim in the Icelandic waters and they travel to tropical temperatures, so that the temperature of the water does not truly affect them. But if they really cared about these animals, they would upgrade their facilities. In 1976 through 1989, 54 orcas were captured. 17 of them went throughout the parks in the U.S. In 2016, they just stopped their breeding program. It took them 43 years to stop that inhumaneness. Now, while you may think it's just harmless family fun, watching these animals do tricks, but really, when how they're trained to do tricks is being withheld food. Shamu, their very first orca, fell victim to this system. How they got Shamu was horrible. Whale harpooners killed her mother, and Shamu would not leave her mother's side. So they took her and gave her to SeaWorld. Now, as you can see, SeaWorld is sick, and small steps have been taken, but only to keep it legal. Now, before you think SeaWorld is a good place to go, remember of all the harms that they do, and don't be a part of the problem. Help solve it.